That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about episode 3 of 9 Perfect Strangers, titled Earth Day, which is also airing, as the first 2 episodes are, on Hulu, August 18th, 2021.
So, Earth Day is day 3.
Of the retreat, Tranquillum.
Of the 10-day retreat at Tranquillum with our 9 strangers plus Masha, Nicole Kidman's character. So, for Earth Day, these people, the day starts with them having breakfast, one of their customized smoothies. And during breakfast, they're told, we're going to fast all day until dinner at 7.
Which is only 12 hours.
Which is only 12 hours, and all of these whole-ass adults, freak out that they won't have food for 12 hours. And they're told they're going to go spend the day out in the woods.
And they can forage and eat the fruit of the earth.
They can forage, and they're told there are avocados and berries and nuts and whatever. And there's a river, I guess if they want to try to kill fish. So the groups are separated into men and women. Mm-hmm. The gist of it is the women go off, and they have a much more sort of, how would you describe their experience? They go to a hot spring, and they do skinny dipping, but how would you describe their experience? Holistic, yeah. They're opening up a lot and sharing with each other. The men, on the other hand, are becoming very agitated because they're hungry.
They're degrading into an almost Lord of the Flies-like state very quickly.
Which culminates with them catching a goat and bringing it back to the retreat. Masha initially is like, this is great. You exceeded my expectations. We were just going to have smoothies for dinner, but now we're going to have a grand feast and prepare this goat. But after she walks away, she's clearly upset by it.
Well, we see her, the episode opens with her jumping into up this precipice into the water, and she talks to that goat because she talks about brushing its teeth. And later on... That's
right, I forgot about that.
And later on, she's again receiving text messages from unknown people. There's this exchange with Delilah that basically says a lot of people are trying to threaten her, which could be related to she was sued for negligence recently in a case.
We're told she was sued for negligence. We see she receives a text message saying, can't take my eyes off of you.
And video of footage of her jumping off of that cliff earlier. So somebody's on the property watching her.
Okay, so just getting into my few notes. So when they're having breakfast, there's this group is still not getting along. They're kind of picking at each other. Lars is the main culprit, played by Luke Evans. He's picking at everyone, and Carmel, Regina Hall's character, lunges at him and tries to choke him out. Mm-hmm. So that was a highlight of breakfast. From there, they're told, that they are going to go out for the day, but before they split into groups, they're going to have a group activity, which is potato sack racing. Mm-hmm. Because, what's his name, Yao? Mm-hmm. He says, combining fun with physical activity can really help relieve stress. So they play this game, and it's after the game that we learn who Tony is. Because, what's the black guy's name? Ben? Mm-hmm. Ben recognizes him as a very famous football player, his dad's second favorite white football player, which I thought was funny. And his name as a football player, which I thought was super funny, was Smiley Hogburn. What a dumb name, Smiley Hogburn.
I thought it was Harburn, but...
Or Smiley Harbor, whatever. That's Tony's actual name as a retired football player who suffered a lot of injuries, which is the basis for his pain and his addiction to pain medication.
Oxy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We also find out why, so Napoleon, Michael Shannon's character, we find out why his son, the twin of Zoe, how he stopped the living. He committed suicide by hanging himself. So we learned that. What were you going to say?
This is the episode where Michael Shannon has his one-on-one with Masha, and I have to say that this is pure pulp in, of course, the sense that this is not how any kind of therapy should look like or play out. It's kind of disturbing in that this is kind of presenting this as some kind of reality.
Well, you know what I was thinking, and well, do I want to share this? Probably not. But so no, I won't say that. But just the idea of like going to treatment and how much, like how expensive it is, and like the characters in this story are saying like it's so expensive here, and there's nothing to it. This whole like random ass build structure in the middle of the woods, and then you have Masha, who's not qualified to do any sort of like counseling or anything, group therapy. And then every time we see her, she's just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, so when Michael Shannon's character goes to visit, like meet with her, she's just sitting in her suite, like sitting crisscross applesauce, like kind of just chilling with no real plan for like bitch, all this money that this thing costs and you just want to chit chat. No, there needs to be like a, you know, like a program, like specific to my needs. All this group therapy shit would not work for me. But also Yao and Delilah, like Delilah in particular, if I spend whatever it costs to go there and this girl is just like I'm playing, what's Peter Piper with the rats? That's how it feels. Like everyone's just following her.
Pied Piper of Hamelin?
Pied Piper of Hamelin. What's Peter Piper? Oh, picked a peck of pickled peppers.
She's kind of like a Stepford wife social worker. Just everything's very flat, and the way she's trying to prod the women for some kind of an emotional response is really irritating. It is. It's
irritating to watch. I'm sure it'll play into the story as we go along, but as of now, I am not impressed with Tranquillum and their services or staff. Okay, so the dinner is awkward because...
You mean the fiery Bacchanalian?
Well, before that... what do they have dinner before dancing or after?
They're dancing and then they sit down and have dinner because that's when there's that...
Okay, so it's awkward because before they start their grand feast, it just cuts to like everyone around a fire like the Wicker Man dancing like Scarlett Johansson in A Marriage Story. Like it's just real... It just like the tone is really off, and then they sit down for dinner and things get very awkward because Michael Shannon's character wants to say grace, and he just goes off on a tangent.
For the goat.
He's like paying because he's reminded of the goat, and then I got nervous because he kept citing like Leviticus 4:23, and I don't know the Bible except Leviticus is what people cite for why gays are going to hell. Well, so then I'm nervous.
It's that a man shall not lay with a man is what they like to say.
Right, but I don't know which passage or verse that is, so I'm like, and he says it like 4 times before he actually says the verse, but really the verse he's talking about is like bringing back a goat or something. Mm-hmm. And then he's relaying that to like how it's his fault that his son killed himself because he should have he says that he left to go do something. I don't know. It's like a real long...
They stayed up late and watched the Royal Tannenbaums.
That's right.
All these details that will float in your head, which to me is sometimes kind of...
Trickery.
Well, it's kind of distracted sense of writing, as in where it draws you into these details when it should be the emotion
that will ultimately mean nothing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, that was a crunchy scene.
Mm-hmm. Because at the end of it, and it's kind of hard to sit through it. I think Michael Shannon does a good job with it because it's his wife addresses Masha at the end of it and says, "Have you been drugging us?" Because it's like clearly he's on something.
The end of the episode is them saying, "Have you been medicating us?" to Masha, and then she looks at the camera and smiles. Cut to black.
Yeah.
Still not impressed. Yeah. Still not hopeful that this will turn out well.
But I think something interesting you noted is that all 3 of the first episodes arrive on the first night, and I think the way that this is playing out, you almost have to... I don't think it's binge worthy, but I also think if you were forced to take a week between each of these episodes, you would lose interest.
Yes, I didn't know that so I assumed the episodes were premiering like one every week, but then you explained that the first 3 are happening on one night, and I'm like, well, based off of the first 3 we've watched, if I just watched the first one and had to wait a week, I probably wouldn't follow up because there's nothing to it. And now we're 3 episodes in, and I still don't feel like I understand the tone, like what direction we're going in, and I really don't like most of the characters.
And I like unlikable characters and people, but I don't think that...
They're just not interesting.
They're not interesting, no. Except for, again, maybe Samara Weaving. I think Michael Shannon's doing some good work, and of course, I think...
She's fun to look at.
Nicole Kidman's interesting as well, but... And Regina Hall.
She's grating.
I feel
because she seems like the character who like is going to end up doing something really bad because she's too cheerful.
That's what I'm interested about.
She's too cheerful, but then she clearly has like a mean streak to her. It's just very obvious.
But it's different styles of comedy going on between her and Melissa McCarthy. Like I can't take either of those characters seriously.
No, but like I always say, to me, bad writing is like if like this feels like something I could write. Like if I had to do some mystery miniseries with this weird wellness center, I'd probably be able to manage writing like this. So I'm not impressed so far. Anything else?
No.
Bye.
Bye.